Ladies and gentlemen, Greater Bay Area has been in place since 2017. And throughout this time, there's been a lot of, is this just a buzzword or is it something really happening? In fact, we are very privileged today to hear firsthand from our panelists of speakers to talk about the air, land, and sea, the transportation. So there's so much things to know about the air, land, and sea. How is the market feeder and how it all came about? Well, let's start off by understanding where it started and where we are at in terms of the post-pandemic. Starting with Mr. Alfred, who is apart from representing Shun, he's also the president of the logistics, international logistics. Alfred, can you please share us a little bit more about what is happening within the Greater Bay Area post-pandemic?
Okay, good morning everyone. Thank you for having me here today, this morning to share my knowledge with you. I think just look at today, we are all together, people just, you cannot imagine the last 3 years. I think that would be empty, that we will sit in front of the monitor and talk to each other. So after the pandemics, people try to travel or they want to travel, especially for the mainlanders and also some international travelers. As a service provider or, land or sea or even the air. So we're so excited to see this, suddenly increase the number of passengers. But however, you will see, the demand is there, but the capacity is that we have a lot of challenges because during the pandemic, so we downsized a lot, and suddenly, just like my experience is like. We just received a 2-day short notice, then you have to start the service again. So I would say after the pandemics, the demand is there, but the travel pattern changing. Until now, we are still changing, they're not finalized. So this is what we experience now, nowadays.
Wow, thank you so much. So when it comes to the air travel, Simon, what is your take on the Greater Bay Area and how it is affecting the regional travel as well as international travel, the post-pandemic?
Okay, thank you, Mary. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for the nice introductions. As you are aware, my career, past experience, most of them are with the government, which I take care of policies now. From the 30th of March, I was appointed to the airport. So now I'm an operator now, facing the market more directly. Actually, I'm doing something that the government obliged the operator to do, and the paper is signed by myself years ago. So now I'm inventing it. So about air travel, how to say it? We are now, maybe I point up some numbers first. We are now around about 50% of what we are having before the pandemic. So especially the international market that hits quite badly. Right now, our major markets still remain on mainland China. The international market are not really recovering very well. As Alfred said, the potential is there because we are just like we opened in January now, so we are just like 9 months after the pandemic. Things still need time to build up, including the airline, not only the people. In summer, we do have very good records. May I ask how many people did not travel during the summer? I see no one raise their hands, right? So everybody was somehow, one way or the other, are pushed to travel during summertime because they cannot travel during the last 3 years. Like my kids, they didn't come back for 2 years. So my parents and my wife, they are so eager to see them, so I asked them to come back. So all these generate some demands during summer, but after summer it slowed down a little bit. It depends on a lot of things. The airlines, the airports, the ground handlers, they need time to recapture the workforce, the equipment, and some of the people are really affected. Travel for leisure probably is one of the areas being affected. But in the long run, yeah, we see it very positively.
Thank you so much, Alfred. So, in terms of the GPA, so how many of you knows what is the scale of the GPA? In fact, just to make it short, if you are thinking of the GPA, we've got the Greater Bay Area in San Francisco, Greater Bay Area in New York, and Greater Bay Area in Tokyo. But Macau, Hong Kong, and Guangdong post a significant number. It is in fact 3 times bigger than San Francisco. So having said this, and what our chairman Rutger has already alluded earlier, that we post 3 different jurisdictions, which means 3 different policies. So Alfred, I would like to hear in terms of what do you think, how is the complexity of this Greater Bay Area when it comes to travel and logistics?
Well, I give a very simple example, like, when you drive to Hong Kong, we talk about Macau private car drive to Hong Kong. So you see the car from Macau, you have 3, or go China, you have the 3 license plate, right? And you cannot imagine in Europe, I mean, even in European Union, there only one company can travel. And I think before the pandemics, the government, I mean, the 3 governments, they are not really aware of the issues. I mean, they still have their own local legislations, and they still remain their regulations. But I think after pandemics, the sudden increase of the travelers and the demand of travels make the government try to think now. For example, like more car allowed to travel, from Macau to Hong Kong, from Hong Kong to China, from Macau to China, and they try to, to relax a little bit on the legislations, and the people, to try to make it more easy to travel. And as a transportation service provider, so we try to think what we can do, because now it seems to have more choices. You can take, travel to GBA by sea, you can by road, you can by railway. So actually, I think the 3 governments try to understand what happening. I mean, not only for the travelers, but also for the goods and the customs. And I think they are still in the course of discussion, but we can see that will be in a good direction of that. But again, they have to adopt their local legislation, so it will take some time to do that.
Wow, so that's really a complex issue when it comes to overall policy. And talking about the overall policy, in terms of the past Mid-Autumn Festival, the airport has reported that there are 51% routes from China, 13% from Taiwan, and 36% or so is from the international region. And so, having said that, as the market feeder for Macau and the Greater Bay Area, I wonder if you can share with us, Simon, in terms of what are the strategic plan for the future of the airport?
All right, thank you. The airport, our Macau International Airport, is built on reclaimed land, so the size is very limited. So at that time, when we built the airport in the mid-90s, no one will believe that Macau Airport will survive, basically. I came back to Macau in 1994, and the airport is under construction at that time. I remember in one of the most famous aviation magazine in the world, called Flight International, IATA asked some analysis, post up an analysis report talking about the GBA. At that time, there's no term GBA, but in the Guangdong area, there are 5 airports. They said it's too much. No way the airports will survive. I remember so clear at that time this article post, and I was working in the authority, and then we need to come up something to give the other side of the information, the story, and we do make studies and of course we will say positive things, but the turnout is really like that, because I think they miss out one point is like they compare this area with the area they are already well developed, so the market is very stable. So we are talking about mid-90s. Our airport, our market is growing so fast. So in China, average 1 people travel 0.2 or 0.3 times per year. While in US, one person travel average 4 to 5 times per year. So even without population increase, the market can triple whatever. So this is make it so potential. In the GBA, we have 83 million of population more or less. And in the southwest side, let's say from Zhongshan all the way down here, we have about 12 million of populations. So that gives us a lot of confidence on the airport development. So we see that, and also the Hong Kong Macao Bridge was a project around 2010. So I was in authority at that time, and we realized that our airport need to be expanded to cope with the future growth. So I started the project in 2010 to expand the airport. Actually, I hired a French company to do our master plan because our airport is designed by a French company. So we make the plan, but somehow at that time, even the Macau local government didn't believe that we have the needs to expand the airport. So it took us a few years to persuade the politicians to believe us that yes, there's a need for that. So after that, this GBA policy comes out, and they said that the GBA need to be the largest airport group in the world. Actually, we didn't do anything. In 2018, we are already the biggest airport group in the world. It's 5 airports from Guangzhou all the way to Hong Kong, Macau, and Zhuhai and Shenzhen. We handle 210 million of passengers in 2018. So we are already #1 in the world compared with Tokyo and San Francisco. So they are not reaching 200 million yet. So we need to have this airport master plan, but however, we need to have the central government approve the reclamation of land. It's not the airport master plan itself, but the reclamation of land according to law, we need to be approved by the central government. That takes us a very, very long time. We go through all the ministries and doing all the studies and environmental issues. So at the end of last year, we finally got a paper from central government saying, okay, Macau, we allow you to reclaim lands for the expansion of the airport. So one of my main jobs being transferred to the airport in the beginning of this year is to implement this plan. So we are doing a lot of designs, detailed designs, cost controlling, bringing in quality services, quality assurance, project management. Hopefully, with all the government administrative procedures and land granting rights, we can able to start the airport master plan in second half of next year. That's our plan.
That's really sound exciting.
Yeah, some billion big projects.
Indeed. Yeah, well, talking about all this expansion, and just 5 years ago in 2018, the Hong Kong Zhuhai Macao Bridge opened up, and we didn't realize what kind of convenience it would change for not just the society, but also for the businesses. So having said that, I would like, as the president of the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport for Macau, Alfred, can you share some insight apart from the land base in terms of commuters? How is it like in terms of logistics side of it?
Okay. So after the opening of the Hong Kong Zhuhai and Macao Bridge, and you provide another choice for the travelers to travel around in the GBA. Say for example, for the sea travel, and you see some people will not doing the sea travel, because that would be more convenient if you travel by road to the beach, and also the bridge itself also provides a lot of convenience for the travelers. Let's say, for example, you go to Hong Kong airport, I think quite sure that they will take the bridge, right? Now they take the sea, from the central to the airport. And we see also the travel pattern is changing. It's quite interesting. Lately, we did a survey. For those who travel on the coast over the bridge, they will not take the ferry. But for those take the ferry, they will continue to take the ferry. Because I think First of all, because the people, the locations, it depends where you go. I mean, if you go to Zhuhai or you go to, the New Territory or somewhere near the Hong Kong airport, people definitely will take the coach. But if someone want to take the, go to the central Hong Kong, they want to do some work, either they travel by boat or they will drive by themselves. And we also see another pattern like, or a family, we would like to travel, during the weekend by driving a car to Hong Kong instead of, travel by sea. So I think the bridge itself provide a lot of different choices for the passengers. I mean, for the tourists, and also changing the pattern. And you see the recent holidays, Chinese national holidays, suddenly a lot of the vehicle go on the bridge because people like to travel to China by driving their own car. But again, I see the usage of the bridge increasingly. I think that's also the purpose of the central government want to do that too. But again, suddenly people don't know what to do. When you travel, the weekend I want to go to China, everybody travel. They go at the same time, so they make it more congested. Even the public holiday, because they don't charge, they will not charge any toll fee, so people will drive on the bridge. So we see the bridge itself changing the pattern of the tourists. Say for example, like for us, on sea, the people will travel back on the ferry during the weekend because they know they're congested in the border, and there's maybe the public transportation connections is important as well. But definitely the bridge provide all the new choices for the tourists.
Right, indeed. And it's also close to the airport. And I once read an article from the director of research, and who happens to be here as well, Mr. Don Dioko from IFT, that there was a study that the overall plan of the GBA is trying to reduce the traveling times into 1.5 hours. That gives a lot of convenience, not just for locally in the interconnection, but as well as the inside underserved tourism market. So GBA, we are talking about regional, but on the other hand, the government is, the Macau government, of course, is positioning ourselves as the world tourism hub. And so since the Macau International Airport's mission is to air bridge connecting Macau to the world in support of Macau's government, so what new markets is the airport exploring, and how is the foreseeable future looking like in terms of competitiveness with the airport, especially that Guangzhou is big and Shenzhen and Hong Kong? How is it like in the future?
Well, of course, I mean, compared to all these airports, Macau probably is, in terms of volume-wise, is the smallest one. But we have our advantage because because of one country, two system, we have our traffic rights. So we have traffic right access to all the countries in the world, basically. So this is one of the big difference between Macau airport and Zhuhai airport or the other airports. However, because of the populations, the size, we are not a hub. We are not a hub at all. We cannot really compete with those big hubs like Hong Kong or Guangzhou. However, as I said just now, with the population of GBA, especially in the southwest side, remember that in the southwest side we have 12 million of people living in the GBA, but there's only 2 runways, not 2 airports. One is Zhuhai Airport, one is Macau Airport. While in the east side of the river, you have Shun Airport and Hong Kong Airport, which is already has 6 runways. So even their populations are bigger. So we will position ourselves, we will play a role different from the other airports, probably. Again, but this is a market-oriented situations. We will attract, because Macau is a tourism city, probably we are more favored for like low-cost airlines, very frequent. Like long time ago, the ferry going from Macau to Hong Kong, they use very big boats, overnight boats. When the speedboat comes in, the big boat disappear in a very short time. So we are a tourism city. We need to favor for those people who are traveling in a very convenient frequencies, very high frequency flights to major cities in Asia Pacific, maybe some long-haul flights in the short near future to come. Because if we want to attract more airline, more routes, we need to persuade the airline there's enough passenger markets or even cargo markets. So how to attract these people coming to Macau or make our airport cover the sector is very important. Just now we talked a little bit about the infrastructures. This is very important to us because in GBA, one of the biggest selling point for them is interconnection. In Chinese, we have a very beautiful word, it's called 互聯互通. In English, this one word includes all. So, but in the real fact is like infrastructure-wise, we are all connected, highways and bridges, everything. But the free flow of the people are very, very limited. That really stops the people traveling and using these infrastructures. In aviation, actually, there's two trends happening globally, and we are doing it as well. One is multimodal travel. So I think in Europe it's very common. It's like you take a flight, after you arrive, let's say in Paris, you change to a train, also with your flight ticket, flight number, and then get to a small town where the airport or the aircraft didn't land in there. So I did that in 2016. We have multimodal agreement signed with mainland, and also multimodal agreement signed with Hong Kong. So what it means is like actually before the pandemic, Cathay Pacific did sell Melbourne, Macau, Frankfurt, Macau tickets. So what they did is they sell tickets. Actually, the passenger physically fly from Melbourne to Hong Kong, go to a ferry with a CX flight number and come to Macau. So the Hong Kong Macau bridge, all these are actually capable of doing that. Why now what is difficult is the good thing is one country, two system, and the bad thing is also one country, two system, because you need to exit and re-enter the territory with your passports. I have two projects also just started. Is like we want to expand our airports. How to say that? The concept is extend the airport, the cargo terminal, and the check-in service into Hengqin. So that will give us a big capture areas. In Hengqin now is like you have one card, you cross the two immigration immediately, right?
Like in Hengqin and Qingdao.
Yes. For normal passengers, they are very happy about it. For the airport, we don't like it. Because I want the passenger exits the territory but do not enter Macau territory. Because once they enter Macau territory, when they come to our airport, they need to cross immigration again. Then we cannot provide check-in service in Hengqin. It sounds very easy, right? Because they have a big area capable of doing it. I just spend a little bit of money. We renovate the whole place, put an X-ray machine, computer, then immediately become a check-in services. And we want to do it together with Zhuhai Airport, so that these two airports, physically in Hengqin, we have two terminals, small terminals, seamlessly connected. However, we have a biggest issue now is immigration and customs. For them, it's a different world. So I hope you will not take like the airport expansion 10 years to get the approval, and I'll work on it. Hopefully by the end of this year, we'll have something that we can move on. Yeah. So I think for the airport wise, we need to position ourselves convenient to capture passengers. So once convenient for the passengers, for the travelers, then the airline have confidence in the airport and they will start routes. So it's always a chicken and egg. So as an airport, well, I need to play a strong role on doing this. Yeah.
Wow, so that's really like a lot of insight in terms of something new and also what are the challenges. Well, talking about that, in terms of, we've already covered land, we've covered the air, and Shun, in fact, is known for its air to sea, land, and how is it looking like in the pipeline? What are the challenges you're facing? Especially like we used to have helicopters from Macau to Hong Kong. How is it overall in terms of, in fact, from the sea to sea connection?
A little bit follow up from what Simon said. The connectivity is a key in this area. We try to, look at the infrastructures in place by the central government. They did a lot of jobs for the past 5 years. They have the bridge, they have the highway, high-speed rail connect from Hong Kong to Shenzhen, and also lately connect to Hongqing. And so they have the bridge from Shenzhen to Zhongshan. So you see that all these kind of infrastructure is there. And the point is that, for example, if I arrive Hong Kong airport or Macau airport, what next? What's the connection that I have? So we have been doing that, like we do the sea air and air sea. For example, you used to be arrive Hong Kong airport, so we have the ferry to take you to Macau, and also we do the land to sea. For example, we arrive Macau, and we for some some services we can take you to your destinations, and sometimes we can also provide sea, air, and sea, or sea, air, and land again. So I think the connectivity is important, and I back to the question about helicopters. I think that is the change of the tourist profile. So we used to a lot of VIPs. So I think we're charging 4,000 something from Macau to Hong Kong. So only 15 minutes, the flying time. And however, now the pattern is changing. So we still see there's a business between Macau to Shenzhen because they substantially lower the traveling times. For Hong Kong, so Hong Kong actually now we were still waiting to see whether that kind of customer or passenger will come back. But again, going back, the connectivity is very important, especially to facilitate the passengers. I mean, I think most of you have the experience that when they arrive in Macau, there's no taxi. So what should we do? I mean, we are thinking maybe we need to give the total solutions. Like, from the place you start, from your origins, you already comfortably that you have the arrangement for the transportation back home. So that is what Shun or assignment want to see this kind of activities or service will happen soon.
So although our topic is about GBA, and of course that also entails the world, but in the recent weeks, we've celebrated the Belt and Road initiatives. So in fact, the Hong Kong, Guangdong, Macau, Greater Bay Area multi-airport region plays a crucial role for the advancement of the Belt and Road initiative. So just to read out a certain article that I've looked into in the recent times, this initiative gained recognition from the Chinese government, and an official plan is currently being developed to facilitate and collaborate development of the multi-airport region. As a newly established strategy, the GBA encompasses an expansive area of 55,000 kilometers in Southwest, and as of 2017, we are already 7 airports opening within the region. So I wonder, Simon, if you could provide us some insights on the cooperative efforts by the GBA government, the airport authorities, not just within Macau, but overall in order to materialize this BRI.
All right, as I said just now, we have an organization called A5. It's actually the 5 airports in GBA that they will have annual meetings, especially before the pandemics. And this year will happen beginning of December. One of the difficulties for this A5 organization to move forward is we are under different administrations. So like long time ago, actually when Hong Kong started planned to build their 3rd runway, actually there's some ideas say, okay, Macau actually the 3rd runway of Hong Kong, if the Macau bridge is there, why you need to spend more than 100 billions on building a 3rd runway? However, as I said just now, one of the key fundamental things is like we are under different administrations. We have different thinkings or different things. So sometimes it make it very difficult to happen. So that's why I said just now, in Chinese we said wu li wu tong. Actually we connected, but we are not wu tong. We are not really free flow on the cargo and the passengers. That's what we need to do more. For example, this project that I propose after I go to the airport is like me and the Macau airport and Zhuhai airport can build a small terminal in Hengqin seamlessly connected so that people check in And after that, they will be escorted by the police in the car, and they will go straight to the airport and go straight to the aircraft. So you don't need to spend time on waiting, queuing up, crossing security in the Macau side, things like that. So all these ideas, we need to have very strong support from the governments. Not only the Macau government, not only the Guangdong government, but Beijing government, because as I mentioned just now, why now when I work on this project for the last few months, one of the biggest barrier is immigration and customs. For example, one of the trend of the airport nowadays is called upstream services. So we want to put our cargo terminal in Hengqin, because Macau is land limited, high cost, and human resources, all sorts of things. So for us, the best solution is put this cargo warehouse in Hengqin. But however, if we need to do that, then the cargo go there, clear immigration, clear customs, do the packing for the aircraft, and it will be locked in the car and go straight to the airport and put it to the aircraft. So it's very easy, right? The infrastructure is there, the road is there, but we need the government support. So all this free flow of passengers and cargoes, we need a special understanding of the governments. And also, for example, why now the cargo are able to export through Macau, but the cargo entering Macau, entering China through Macau is not possible. It is not allowed. Macau is not allowed to do that. So we need to make up for the logistic companies or logistic side, they need to come up a list of cargoes that they want to do and persuade the central government, say, okay, Macau is an international airport, so we have this Hengqin, we have these needs, we have these demands. How about you approve us these lists of cargo that can go through Macau to China? So with all these, we need government policy support.
Well, we definitely need to work on our wu lui wu zhong, right?
Yeah.
So everybody, this is one of the key takeaways. And so having said that, we've seen an insight about how is it in terms of the hardware, and we've talked about the challenges that everybody is facing, not just Macau, but also Hong Kong and as well as Guangdong in terms of collaboration and cooperation. So we've got some of the, one of the prepared questions, in fact, from one of the colleagues within the GBA Tourism Vision Committee, that the central government has for years promoted the development of transport infrastructure within the GBA. So we have the hardware ready in place, at least in the first phase, and short-term and mid-term. So what about the software? Do you think the GBA needs an integrated transportation policy and manning policy in order to achieve and materialize these particular plans? How is it looking at? And this question is for both of you.
I think I mentioned before the infrastructure is there, very nice, very advanced. But again, it seems they are doing separately. Like in the highway, high speed rail, even the sea transport or even the air transport. We just take the people from one point to another point. We do not ask the questions, what next? How to make our passengers or tourists to say, they arrive their destinations without any hassle. I think there are a lot of things can be done, like how to move your luggage. You are just travel, without any hassle. Travel with families. You just take care of family, enjoy the trips, and then you safely arrive to the hotels or home. And again, what Simon had mentioned, there's still some of the legislations of the policy or even the mindset of the officials how to make this happen. So, and I think technology itself can help a lot. For example, like because of this facial recognitions, this AI technology, actually they can help you to plan. I mean, if someone can give you a solution, you just type, I want to from Macau to, let's say, to Guangzhou. What is the possible solutions? And you can choose by time, choose by your budget, and I think that can be done through the technologies. But again, so we need to understand first our changing the the behavior of travelers. Just before we used to travel in groups, mainland Chinese, but we see now there are a lot of people to travel in FIT, family style, looking for something, special, local, especially Macau, they're looking for, the European style, architect, that kind of lifestyle. So, I mean, first of all, you need to understand your profile of your customers, and then how can you use the technology, to achieve, and then how to connect to the infrastructures. And policy-wise, I think that will be, of course, that will take time, but I think because of this GBA issues and especially what I mentioned, after the pandemic, the high demand of travel. I mean, the different government, the government in these three areas, they will try to see what they can do through, especially through the technology to simplify the people to flow.
Yeah, I very agree with Alfred. That is like the infrastructure is there that I mentioned just now many times. And technology is there. Now we need to make good use of all these. Basically, it's free flow of the passengers and cargoes. Another example is like just now we mentioned helicopter. In Shenzhen, there's more than 200 helicopter landing sites, takeoff and landing sites. So a business traveler, you can take off anytime. You don't want to land at the Shenzhen International Airport and then you take another hour taking a taxi or limousines to downtown for a meeting, right? But however, to depart from Macau, one country, two systems, you need to cross immigration first. You must land in an international airport because you need to enter China territory, right? It doesn't work. But helicopter is not designed for this type of operations, right? Isn't it? And now in Macau side, in the west side of the river, we have a very good condition, even better than Hong Kong. That is our artificial island for Hong Kong-Macau bridge. We have two immigrations built together. If we manage to find a landing pad in this island, a passenger can cross this two immigrations at the same time and being escorted by a police or security guard in the limousines to the helicopter. It take off. Sorry, you don't need immigration because I crossed immigration already. So this is a domestic flight. I can land in Guangzhou, I can land in Shenzhen, any building, any golf field, right? Isn't it? So the infrastructure is really there. The mind just need to be open a little bit, and you give this convenience. The Hong Kong airport, the Macau airport, we just opened our check-in service in the Hong Kong-Macau bridge in September. But it's in the Macau side, not in the Zhuhai side. Because when they build a bridge, we do give comments. We do inject our idea that it's a good idea that we connect these two airports by providing check-in service in the building or in the bridge. But Zhuhai didn't consider that. That's why there's no facility there. And for us, of course, we're going to attract the people from Zhuhai using the check-in counters. But they are in the Macau immigration side, not in the Zhuhai side, so cannot use it. So it's just simple. That's a very simple example. All right. Yeah.
So there's really a lot of work to be done, and it is such an honor and as well as a milestone for us to be part of this transition from the reform in 1978 from the economic zone into now emerging into the Pearl River Delta and then now the GBA. So it is really something big. I think we all love Macau and we all want to really support and to make this flourish. And so on the last question before we go for the floor questions. Would there be any key takeaway that you'd like to share to our audience? And our audience comprises of course, our media friends and our friends from the hospitality, from banking, from legal sector, and from all walks of life, and academics as well, of course. We're very well represented in this particular sphere.
Well, I think for me, I think we have been working on that seamless and also less hassle connectivities. So I think that will be the key success for the moving the people around this area. Because now, economically, the people in this area, they are able to travel. How to make them to travel, this is the issues. And again, I think there will be a lot of potential for the technology in this area to make it happen. That's what I mentioned, like AI. When they can already give you a plan before you start to plan to travel. So I think that will be the issues that I think to think about that in this area.
Well, as the airport, we look at the number of passengers, the tons of cargoes. So the free flow of this is very important. So I think for me, the really implementation of interconnections, on Chinese again, really, if you really can implement it, that's a good thing. For me, I have no worry about the markets because the populations already justify that there's a lot of potentials. Plus, the economic is growing. So as I mentioned just now, imagine when we are young kids, we probably travel maximum once per year. Now probably 5 times per year. Same person, I created 5 times the markets, right? Isn't it? So I myself, I'm not worried about the market itself. Is the service we provide good enough to make people feel comfortable to use the services or to use the Macao airport?
Thank you so much for that particular sharing and insights in terms of the GBA air, land, and transportation. And now we're on into our floor questions. We'd like to give an opportunity to our audience to ask a direct question to our experts coming all the way from the airport and as well as from Shun. Yes, Juan from MDME Lawyers, right in front of you, Vincent. Yes. So, Juan Carnação is one of our GBA Tourism Leisure Committee and who's helped put this together. Please, your other questions?
Good morning, and thank you for the wonderful insight that you've provided. I believe it was Simon that mentioned the multimodal pass, and I was thinking, would that be something that could be arranged within the GBA, something that would create an incentive for people to actually get moving and visit all the cities of the GBA, where a pass, a kind of a tour pass would be created. People could use the pass for, say, 2 years, 3 years, and they wouldn't have to spend so much time, so much money in transportation, and so they would be more free to, travel between the different cities.
Well, I think that as I mentioned just now, the policy is there. I mean, like the legal-wise, they can do it. Like it's a matter of like the airline need to work with ferry or buses that the passengers can freely travel like this. I think why not recently the Guangdong government have a policy of allowing you to travel with foreigner passports. They have some 7 days or 5 days of visa-free if you join a tour group. Yeah. So all these are stimulating the market. I hope when the market becomes stable again, either travel agencies or airlines, they will really pick up again this product and rebrand it. Of course, again, we need all of these immigrations and customs collaborations to do that. And another thing is like I talked to some of the airlines that both serving Macau, Hong Kong, Shenzhen, and Guangzhou. I said, well, such a short distance, not short distance, but yeah, close areas. Why you need to serve so many destinations in the same regions? And the answer they give to me is very practical. They say actually their experience is like some travelers, they want to enter a port and they want to exit another port. Just like what you said. Save time in traveling so much. Maybe I come to Macau first, I want to do something, and then I need to go to Guangzhou for visit my family, but I want to fly out from Guangzhou instead of after my business in Guangzhou, I need to come back to Macau to fly again. So the airline explained to me actually they create a bigger market by doing that. So again, convenience is very important.
Thanks, Simon. Alfred, do you have anything to add into that?
Well, just to we can what Simon said about the Guangdong government policies. They have that now for granting the foreigners 144 hours vis-a-vis, but travel in group. So what they do is that if you two people travel together, you have to be a group. So don't need to be a big group. So, but I think the MTT are working on that too. That if more relaxed a little bit, that will be much more easy. And also, I think what I totally agree what Simon said is how to make you to easy to travel in the area. No need to so much hassle. And also, what he mentioned, some people like I arrive Macau, after traveling or do the business, and I go to TPA, and then I want to go out from TPA. Don't need to go back to Macau. So again, it depends on whether there's a service provider can provide this total solution for you. So we have to say a lot of times. I mean, I think the policy wise will be relaxed slowly. I mean, if not this, the next year will be within 5 years. This will happen definitely. So it's just the matter now is how to focus what kind of service, what kind of convenience service you can provide. Yeah, I think that's the key point to attract the people to come here.
And we have another question from our treasurer of the France Macau Chamber of Commerce and Executive Committee Board, Mr. Jeremy Arson.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Marie. Thank you, Simon and Alfred. Very, very insightful talk. So it seems that the word is free flow passenger, and you seem to be advocating that, and I'm sure that on your daily work you are pushing every day. So I'd like to understand the other side. So it seems that the limitation comes from the regulators, from the administrations. So what are the biggest hurdles or biggest reason that you are giving to in order for those free flow not to happen?
Right now, how to say that? In the mainland, there's something slightly different from the other part of the world. In here, if you want to travel to a country, you no worry existing Macau. You only worry whether you'll be allowed to enter the country when you're right there, isn't it? In our country, it's slightly different. So they will scan the people who's traveling out. So especially after pandemic, we did have flights coming in big cities that a certain percent of passengers are being discouraged to board the flight. So this is a very unique situation in Macau that we need to face, and sometimes it's very, very difficult to talk in public, and the government need to have the technique and find a way to communicate with the central government for